Let's go live now to the United Nations, where VOA UN correspondent Margaret Besheer is standing by. Hello, Margaret. Tell us, tomorrow is the big day when world leaders start addressing the UNGA. What should we expect to hear from African leaders?
Hi, Esther. Yes, a lot of them rushing to catch flights to New York tonight from London, from the funeral. So Ukraine may be stealing the headlines, but I think Africa is still very much on the agenda here. Already on Sunday, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres had a meeting with the African Union Commissioner, Moussa Faki Mahamat, and he met separately with South Sudan's Vice President. So I would expect this week we're going to hear a lot about the conflict in Ethiopia, the drought in Somalia, problems in the Sahel. There's no shortage of African issues to discuss here. And I think African leaders in particular will be raising in their speeches during the week the issue of climate change. You know, we're seeing a terrible drought, not just in the Horn, but also in Madagascar. We're seeing rising food prices, fuel prices, a lack of fertilizer. That's something that the Secretary General is particularly concerned about. So there's a lot of issues that they'll be focused on Africa here, but definitely alarm bells on climate change.
You mentioned Ukraine. Will the war in Ukraine likely be a major topic of discussion from world leaders?
I do expect to hear a lot about it from Western leaders. I think they'll use the idea of the UN Charter and respecting its principles as a segue into the topic of Russia's invasion into Ukraine, which is illegal under the UN Charter. It's a violation of it. It's a violation of international law. The Secretary General has been very clear about that as well. And they will raise the issue of Ukraine's grain, which has been stuck in silos, which is now just starting to get out under this deal that the Secretary General brokered along with Turkey's president to get some of the grain out through the Black Sea, and also to ease problems for Russia in getting its fertilizer to international markets. We've seen already in West Africa a shortage of fertilizer. This could lead next year to shortfalls in crops because you need more fertilizer to make more abundant crops. So there's a concern that rising fertilizer prices this year will lead to food shortages next year. So I think we're going to hear a lot about this, and it's directly tied to the war in Ukraine. And there'll also be talk about war crimes in Ukraine. You know, there's going to be a lot of discussion about the war here, but unfortunately, as the Secretary General said in our preview story, little chance of a breakthrough in diplomacy.
Margaret, thank you. That was VOA UN correspondent Margaret Besheer reporting live for us